So, before we do anything, take a minute with yourself and think this to yourself to commit to this meditation. Means that for the next 30 minutes or so, you're really gonna just focus on meditating, and all the other commitments and obligations and duties you have, give yourself permission to forget about them for these next 30 minutes. Like actually make this resolution to yourself. If there's anything you have to do after this, you might want to quickly think about it and then think, okay, that's waiting for me after the meditation. I'll deal with it later or tomorrow, whenever. This way you can make a checklist even. This way you're not thinking about what you have to do during the meditation. So it's good to kind of make that internal resolution before you start meditating. So we're going to kind of go through a process, a winding down process of relaxation, and then ultimately this should be slowly learning how to release contractions and defabricate the mind. There's going to be some steps to this. I'll walk you through. So yeah, you can get into your posture, and if any of you like, you can be in a kind of leaning back posture for this, actually. If you don't have to be super upright, you can, but if you actually kind of want to chill, lean back a bit, get comfy, do that. And yeah, keep your eyes open, but actually, okay, we're gonna just move the body a little bit. Just do this with me. Just kind of wiggle. Sort of start kind of gradual and kind of move the head. And just wiggle, kind of shake things. One arm, then the other arm. Hands and stuff. Move your toes and your legs. Okay. Energizing the body first a little bit. Like your body's real, it's here. You feel it. And we're going to kind of pump it up before we start relaxing it. Yeah, I'm going to slow that process down. Slow that process down. There's a balancing act here. Maintaining wakefulness while becoming more and more relaxed. If you don't maintain that wakefulness and you relax, you can end up falling asleep, and then you miss the good stuff. You miss the insights that come from being in states of mind that are a lot more defabricated. So, it could be good to physically kind of wake your body up. You're here. And now, take some deep breaths. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Settling into the body more. Another thing I might add, after this, you can close your eyes, but first look at this. How you hold your face can correlate with your your emotional tone, obviously. So pay attention to how you're holding your face. And we're trying to get into a more neutral state. So if you can, think about holding a neutral facial structure. You might envision what a kind of a stoic figure, how their face would be quite neutral. Imagine there's an emotional blandness. And if you can embody this face, how that could correlate to your emotional state. Just think of this way. Think of your face in this way. Imagine you could really just be this sort of stone cold statue. Just something to keep in mind. Notice your emotions changing. Okay, so you can close your eyes. And now we're going to go through the body by tensing parts of the body and then releasing them to get more relaxed. So we start with the head, and you might frown. Actually scrunch your eyebrows like you're angry, and then release them. And scrunch, tighten your eyes as well. Scrunch and then release. And moving down, suck your nose in. And release. And cheeks, and jaw. Tense it. Be careful not to hurt yourself, but tense it more. Then release it. You see the difference. You feel one feels better. And work your way down your body, tensing different parts of your body and then releasing them to get more relaxed. You scrunch up your arm and your hands and your fist. And release them and do this down one side and the other side. Yes, your shoulders, yeah. You can tighten your butt cheeks and release them. Your legs, and curl your toes and then uncurl them. So we go more in one direction in order to get more in the other direction. Create contraction and then release it to get less contraction overall. And while we're doing this, I want you to see if you can notice a theme in all letting goes. All moments there's the releasing. What do they all have in common? It's a similar move that's done in all of these instances. Okay, as you've gone through your body like that, now, without moving, scan through your body again and see if you can release any more tension. You're not actively contracting any parts now, but see if there's still like little bits you can just try to, oh yeah, still holding tension there, and release it. So again, start with the head, the face, and move down one side of the body, then the other side, and do your legs. And take your time with this. You might find parts that you can tell there's tension there and you can't release it immediately, but keep your attention on that spot for longer and subtly, try to slowly see if you can release more and more tension there. Yeah, we're going to spend some time on this bit, slowly going through the body, trying to look for any bits of contraction that you can release and become ever more relaxed. For a lot of these releases, there should be a subtle outwardness and maybe a drooping and a sinking quality to them. Might come across a spot that you feel some particular tension, but can you kind of imagine it even uh, expanding out a little bit and kind of sinking? Can you notice that all of these sensations are not really hard, actually quite amorphous, clustery clouds of sensations? If you keep that in mind, it makes the points of tension seem less real. Keep with this sinking, relaxing. It's a very delicate process. Don't strain yourself by trying to release and relax. Just looking around the body, the ever increasing, subtler sensations to relax. Very good. And remember this balancing act of relaxing but staying wakeful. So maybe here, take 3 more slightly deeper breaths than you normally would, just in through the nose and out through the nose. Sort of aliven yourself a bit more. Now we're going to work on the breath, actually. So, for this part of the meditation, follow the breath and don't control it, and get to a point in which you feel like you don't have to control the breath. The breath stabilizes. You don't feel like you have to put any effort into controlling the breath. Just you let it go. Try to get to this point. Trust in your autonomic system to breathe for itself. The body knows how to breathe by itself. You don't need to control it. And see if you can really come into this kind of relationship with the breath where you trust the body to do its thing and the breath becomes subtle and automatic. There's a letting go process there. you come to a point where you're just watching the breath. You have to be very still so that everything calms down. We've gone through the body, so the body should be very relaxed. Now we're just fine-tuning little points. Yeah. Moving more towards equilibrium, homeostasis. Now we're going to work on relaxing mental content. And to do this, again, like before, we energize the body and then tense things and then relax things. I actually want you to actively think in your head. You can just make noises like la 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 la, and then stop. And then do that again. So think, whatever, blah, 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 and then stop that process and notice the stopping. So actively think, actively generate mental words or even images in your mind, and then deliberately stop them. Become familiar with that process of cutting the stream of thought. So you're thinking and then stopping. See how you can do this? Okay, now don't try to actively think. We're not going to encourage thinking anymore, but thoughts will continue to happen. So just notice the thoughts that appear on their own. But again, notice how you can stop those thoughts. Once you notice them, you can release the mind and stop the thinking process. So pay attention to the phenomenology of this releasing process. Is a kind of a halting, normally a sense of outwardness, maybe a dropping and a sinking. Increasing equanimity, accepting. You notice a thought and you don't follow it. We're always following our thoughts. They convince us that they're really interesting. I must think this thought. Well, you've got plenty of time to do that. But for this meditation, explore how interesting it is to not follow a thought. And now, remember, anything in experience, release it. Include these other stages that we were previously working on. So tension arises in the body again. Release that. Pay attention to all these levels of experience. Be releasing, relaxing, calming. Slightly out and down is a common theme. And finally, drop all effort. Even the effort of trying to release and relax. Nothing to do anymore now. Let it unwind itself. If you're subtly doing something with your attention, just stop doing that. There's really nothing to do. Stop paying attention to anything or trying to control anything. There's nothing to focus on. Not even space itself. Okay, we're going to slowly come out of this, bring the meditation to an end. Slowly wind back up, come back into contact with the world. You might just open your eyes and look around the room. Before we start engaging with anything, just observe the world. Is it the same world as the beginning of the meditation? Do you feel a bit different in relation to this world now? Maybe, maybe not. Something to reflect on after a meditation.